that from a little bit. We'll line it up. We'll make it finger tight, and then we'll torque it down with a torque wrench. I'm going to pass him the quarter inch now.
Whenever you run lines?
I don't actually use Nylog. Some manufacturers don't like it.
Okay.
And they'll void a warranty. And
really?
Listen, I'm not worried about warranties on HVAC equipment. But I don't like anything on that face.
Gotcha.
But to each his own. It's made by a great manufacturer, Refrigeration Technologies. They make a lot of other cool products. But one thing I would never do is put one of those purple gaskets they do sell. You see them in like some supply house counters and things like that.
Yeah.
I would not use that. You don't need a gasket there. You have a perfectly machined connection. You have a flare joint. Not necessary. Remember, we're going to get that finger tight. It should go on freely till it's nice and snug. If it's not, you need to like make sure it lines up well in place. All right, well, Juan is using the Yellow Jacket torque wrench, holding back with another crescent wrench to the right pounds. Defer to the factory manual to get the right specifications. All right, folks, we got the line set ran. Now, an interesting technique that Juan is using here, he's using some conduit, insulated wire, sorry, I said conduit, conductor, insulated wire inside the piping as he's cutting the pipe. Interesting. I also noticed that he did the same approach when he bent the line sets up there, and he did that to avoid kinking the line. Really, really nice. Nice workmanship here. So right now he's cutting that 3/8 line to size. We're going to take that flare nut off of the condensing unit. We'll put that flare nut over the piping, and then we'll use a flaring tool to make that perfect flare. Even deburring the pipe. Wow! He must be only doing it for the camera.
Yeah, no, only when the camera's on.
There you go, tapping it to get all the little deburred metal out of the inside of the piping. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of deburring piping because when you flare it, you're going to push that out of the way. But to each his own. Like I said, you learn new techniques every day. And our goal here, not only to make the trades great again, but to also learn from one another and get the job done. Sometimes they're stubborn.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind of flaring tool he's going to use. All right, got a flaring block.
Yeah, no, we got an electric one in the van, but I like using this one a lot more.
Yeah, the is it the NAVAC NAVAC one or something else?
It's the same brand as this Superstar.
Ah,
Superstar.
okay.
Yeah, and it works pretty good.
Yep. I've been using, I used a flaring block years ago. A couple years ago, I used this thing called Spin, where it goes onto your impact driver, and you use this high-speed moving, tip that flares it. Mm-hmm. The issue with that, it gets very, very hot. Yeah. So if you're holding onto the pipe, you're going to burn your hands. And then a couple years ago, I bought the NAVAC automatic flaring tool, which, with a few exceptions, makes a perfect flare every single time. Gotcha. But it's another investment.
Yeah.
And the tools, they quickly add up.
That's for sure, yeah. The only annoying thing about this one is just
setting it.
Yeah, and then having to two-hand it every time.
Yep.
The most power ones, I can just one-hand it. But I like this one just because I can almost trust myself every time I've done it. Feel more
Yeah,
confident.
you gotta
like
make
a
sure you
power
set
tool.
your right depth.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It's a handy.
Sure does. So folks, imagine going through all of this setup to flare the tubing and then forgetting the flare nut. We've all done it, ladies and gentlemen. We've all done it many times, not just once or twice. We've all done it many times, and especially when we're thinking about not doing it and not forgetting it is when we forget it.
Did you forget it?
No, it's on there. I'm just... The bosses, look, the bosses are under the canopy.
These guys are preying on my downfall right now.
No, you're good. Don't worry. No pressure here. This is uncut, unedited, raw footage. Good old kings of mini splits. Let's see that flare. Let's see that flare.
Only when it's on camera it starts getting jammed up.
No pressure. Let's see that flare. Yeah, that's a nice flare.
So,
Very nice. You gotta be kidding me. I've never seen a crawl space so low before. Wonder if there are any alligators in there. So Tyler just got out of the
For moles. Yeah, they
just
put it
got
over the
out of the crawl space. And what is that?
Some sort of trap.
That's a mole trap?
Yeah. Put it over top the holes.
So when they come up they get spiked.
Yeah.
Oh man, are moles bad?
Yeah, they just tear up your ground.
Really?
Root your ground all up, holes all over.
Moles, they tunnel, they dig,
tunnel.
they're diggers.
So check your yard up.
Oh man, so that kills them.
That'll kill them if it hits them.
Damn. All right, now Tyler is out of the crawl space. He's running some conduit right now so we can run our dedicated breaker, 240 breaker, from this nice circuit breaker panel, this outdoor panel here. How was that crawl space, Tyler?
Oh man,
It was brutal, huh?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
tight.
you were cursing the homeowner, weren't you?
pretty tight.
Yeah. Very nice. So he's running that circuit through the crawl space all the way to here. And we're gonna have our disconnect panel with our surge protection device. And we're about ready to pull down a vacuum. We got the NAVAC. This is the 7 CFM vacuum pump. Very nice. We're gonna pull a nice, tight and dry vacuum on this system. As you guys know, moisture is the #1 killer of compressors. That oil, it gets in there, just messes up and fouls up the whole system. So as great as and beautiful as the install could be, you can mess it all up by not pulling a proper vacuum. All right, so right now, Juan is putting on a service tool onto that service port. He did not pull the Schrader core, but it's not really a long line. I think we have like 12 feet, 10 feet if that. So this will pump down quickly, even with that Schrader core in place. Setting a little valve there with a T to add your micron gauge. It's nice that he has the plugs inside on the hoses to keep the moisture and the atmosphere out of them. But that all hinders the time it takes to vacuum down a system, all that moisture and atmosphere. Think about it, folks. When you're pulling down a vacuum, you're pulling into negative atmosphere. So any moisture that's in the system is going to boil off. And we all know what happens, with water when it boils off. It expands like, I don't know, 14,000 times its mass when it turns into that vapor, that steam. So moisture boils off and it expands, and that increases the time to bring your levels down below 500.